change lawyers. So there's an incentive on the part of the lawyers to find a way to work it out. It's been very successful. It provides a less expensive path to resolving those kinds of disputes. So Bob and B, well, maybe there's some principles there that can be applied to this broader problem of civil discourse or uncivil discourse. So, and they really were struck last September the 11th, a year ago, by a joint statement that was issued by the two local political chairs, Tim Burke of the Democratic Party, Alex Triantafillo of the Republican Party, which said some very powerful things about what we should be reflecting on the community as we observe the anniversary of September the 11th. So they're saying to themselves, well, those two folks can come together around that, can they come together around other things? Bob and B recruited Judge Sandra Beckwith and me, a Democrat, Republican folks, I guess who were long past 18, folks who perhaps are thought to be rational. And we started talking about what we might be able to do, and that led us to organize a steering committee of this project called Beyond Civility. And it includes the chairs of the local parties, including the president of the Charter Committee, Kevin Flynn. It includes some elected officials. It includes some distinguished citizens, some folks from the media world, Bill Fee, who was the news director, retired news director at Channel 9, and so on. And with some financial support from the Cincinnati Bar Foundation and the Season Good Foundation, we have been undertaking two things. One is a series of workshops involving 20 folks or so, addressing this problem of the natural biases that we have when it comes to listening to civil discourse. And we've had some conversations. We've been led by Deborah Pierce, who's a communications professor at Xavier. She now lives out of the area, but she's very effective at making us think about the way we communicate with each other, and what things are effective and what things aren't, and what things help us listen to each other. We've had some discussions about a couple of books that have come out in the last year that are right on point. One is by Daniel Kahneman, Thinking Big and Thinking Small. And of course, his proposition, he's an economist, but his proposition is that each of us has two systems that govern how we think and how we react. System one and system two. System one is the emotional system. And he doesn't explain this neurologically, but it helps describe maybe what we do as human beings. It's the emotional system that has some roots in our evolution, and it protects us when we're in danger. Also, it may not be very useful when we're trying to deal with serious problems that require more careful look. System two is where we reason and hopefully reach an enlightened decision. The other book that we discussed a bit is The Righteous Mind by Jonathan Haidt, which also tries to address this inherent conflict within each of us between our emotional side and our rational side. And why is that important? Because as you think about the way we might communicate with each other, it's important to understand ourselves. The term that explains what I was doing last night as I was listening to the governor and the president is confirmation bias. I was looking for the things that confirmed how I felt, and from both of those individuals. And I'm recognizing it. And by the way, we're not trying to do away with negative campaigning. We assume we can't do that. The only thing that'll do away with negative campaigning is when the elected says we're not going to reward it. And the elected now tends to reward those negative ads that we all say we hate. I remember when I was last a candidate many years ago, I was at a forum at a local high school, and some young lady said, "Why are you taking Pell Grants away from us and giving them to prisoners?"